Hey, I want to talk about World of Warcraft. Why I don't think it's getting any new subscribers, and what they can do to change that. So, brief history: I've been playing off and on since vanilla. Didn't play the Burning Crusade. I know, f me, right? But I played every other expansion pack. Since the game first came out. Didn't play the beta, but since the game actually released. Okay, that said, um, I don't think WoW is gaining more people because has anybody tried to start a new character, a new account, like completely from fresh? No refer a friend, no heirlooms, no nothing. Like just you see the ads everywhere. Start a trial account, completely free, go up to level 20, and do it. Like it's annoying. You don't. The controls all handle very well and everything like that, but after the first few levels, that wears off. The coolness of the new game wears off as you're even at level 10. You feel forced to kind of grind your way. And the questing speeds that up dramatically, but just not enough. Not enough. Not in the least. If you make a new account with no heirlooms and go into a battleground at level 10, yeah, have fun with that. Have fun with that. You're not going to. You might. Who knows? But it's not fun. Some people may enjoy just getting, pounded. There are like those S&M clubs, but most people don't. So there's that. I mean, I urge anybody that plays WoW to try that. Make a new starter account. Don't tell any of your friends about it. And just roll on a random server, whatever server Blizzard picks for you, which is going to be some dead, no population server. No heirlooms, no refer a friend, and get to level 20. I can't do it. Like, it's just too boring. I tried a couple years ago and got all the way as far as level 40 before it was just disgusting. Because as soon as you get to your first town, which no matter what class or race you play, you're going to get to your first major city at around like level 10. You're going to see the level 90s. So or if you even have any basic knowledge of the game, like, okay, level 90 is where I'm trying to get to. Everybody says that's where the game starts. That's where all the cool stuff happens. And there's lots of cool stuff before you get to level 90, but, that's where most of the cool stuff happens. That's when you're supposed to feel badass, right? And we'll get to that in a minute, how you don't feel badass at level 90, but it's so aggravating. By the time you're level 20, you're already feeling the pressure grind. And it's made so much worse because you're sitting there thinking, I have to go all the way to 90. You're not level 20 thinking, I'm already level 20, man. I'm kind of a badass. No, you're thinking like, I have 70 more levels to go. And I'm not powerful. I don't have any heirlooms. Like, I don't have any gear whatsoever. I've got like a few greens, maybe a few blues because I've run some dungeons. But those aren't that fun because, everybody else in the dungeon's talking shit that because I don't have these heirloom items. Well, I just started playing the game, guys. Like, cut me some slack, right? No, they're carrying me through the dungeon and I should, like, worship them because of that. The game is so unapproachable from a new player. With Refer a Friend, obviously all these obstacles are overcome, but without Refer a Friend? Whew. No thanks. No thanks. So I feel like that's the big reason why. If somebody sees those advertisements on YouTube or any of the various gaming websites out there and they try to play the game, unless they have like a good group of friends that are willing to help them out, the game is just not fun. Because while in 2004 when the game came out, leveling up was an experience that no other game gave you in the way that WoW did. Everything looked really good. It was cartoony, but it looked good. And everything was so smooth, and most of the games back then were not like that at all. I mean, if you remember back like in the Ultima EverQuest days, things just were not smooth and polished like WoW was. And even though you knew that, man, I'm not level 60 yet, I'm only level 20, but I'm still having a blast compared to the other games out there I could be playing. And that's gone now because there's so many other games out there. There's so many other good games out there where it's fun. And what do you do about that, right? Like, WoW doesn't even seem to care. Blizzard doesn't even care about the new player experience. And maybe that's because it's so hard to find hardcore gamers or like you know, gamer lifestyle type people that have never played WoW. You know, 90% of all gamers, whether they play WoW or not, have at some point played it. Now, they may not have like played it to the full extent of getting to the whatever max level cap that was whenever they were playing, but they've played it at least enough to form an opinion of the game. And maybe because it's so hard to find people like that, especially, you know, like QA people. QA people are gamers that take the gamer lifestyle to the next level, right? At work, they do nothing but play games. They come home and they play games. They only play games. And you're not going to find many QA people that have never played World of Warcraft. And so I feel like that whole area gets skipped because most people now that play World of Warcraft, they make a character. The first thing they do is put some heirlooms on it, and they just force themselves to level up to a certain level. Like that's pretty common for people to just force themselves to do that. A few people enjoy leveling up because the quests are pretty fun if you can get into the whole lore thing, but that's very rare. You know, in a guild of 600 players, you might have one guy that just enjoys leveling up new characters, not to play them at level 90, but just to play them as he's leveling them up. Which brings me to the next problem when I'm leveling up. You know, right before I quit a couple weeks ago, I started a new character, no heirlooms, new server, everything. And you know, when you get to this point, like, there's no introduction to your skills or anything anymore. You just get the skills. Well, after I've got about 3 or 4 abilities, like, it's really just a pain in the ass. I don't even notice that I get half of these new skills, and why bother to test them out? Because I've been going through the game for an hour or 2 or 3 or 4 hours already, only using these other couple of abilities, and it's served my purposes just fine. In fact, you can go all the way to level 90 on just about every class, only using a few abilities. And there's no introduction to your new abilities. You get an introduction to your first ability, and that's it. After that, you can pretty much use that first ability to get all the way to level 90 if you want. And then at level 90, all of a sudden you're expected to know like 30 abilities. And you're like, well, man, I've had no introduction to any of this. And let's face it, you're not going to get to level 90 anyway because the game sucks until then. So, new players cannot come to WoW. How do you fix that? Well, make them powerful. First of all, cut the leveling time. I know you do it like every patch or every expansion, but cut it down, like, hugely, especially since you're not taking the time to introduce any new abilities. Like, what do you care? Like, let people zip through the zones. Like, lower the HP of all the mobs. Like, all of them. There's no reason for me to have to be like level 2 and I have to hit this guy like 3 times because I have to kill his other 9 buddies. And then for that quest, I get like a quarter of a level. At level 2, it's fine at level 2, but once I get to level 12, and keep in mind I don't have any heirlooms or anything, and I have to kill these mobs 1 or 2 of them at a time because my character is so weak, and it takes me, you know, 2 to 3 to 4, sometimes 5 hits to kill a single mob. Like, I'm already not wanting to play anymore, because guess what? I can go download PlanetSide 2 right now for free. Play it for free. There's so many games. I can go get Path of Exiles for free. Like, those are 2 examples, but I mean, there's tons of examples out there, like, of other games I could be playing and enjoying a hell of a lot more than being level 12 in World of Warcraft and sucking ass, because without heirlooms you suck. So, like, reduce the HP. Like, at least let me fly through the zones like Diablo style to level up, and at least that'll make it a little bit more enjoyable. Second, give my character, even if it's a trial account, give him some heirlooms. Like, why not? Like, heirlooms are a joke to get anyway, and most people at this point in the game that are like, you know, I've been playing WoW for so long, they have a set of every heirloom anyway. They have all the heirlooms, and the only time they grind more heirlooms is whenever they lose a set through the mail, or, I mean, you'd be surprised. Sometimes you delete a character and you forgot that he had all your plate heirlooms on it. You know, things happen, but give new characters heirlooms. You don't even have to give them heirlooms, because let's face it, the biggest advantage of heirlooms are that you get those stat jumps at the very first levels, and then you get the increased experience. Well, cut the monster HP down, and then give us more experience per kill, and it'll be more fun. Jack up the stats. All the starting stats, just jack them up. Or just give us a set of heirlooms when we play the game. Like, without that, the game is just not fun. I spent all night. I wanted to try out a new server before I transferred there. So me and a friend, we made we made characters on this server, no heirlooms, and we spent all night playing. And I mean like, okay, I don't remember, like maybe 5 to 10 hours, a long time, playing these characters, and we got them up to like level 20, 25, maybe a little bit higher than that. Well, then I transferred to the server, and of course with me I brought like full sets of heirlooms, and I made a new character with the heirlooms, and in like 2 hours I was back at level 25. Now, I'm a pretty seasoned player, you know, I know all the quests to do, all the quests to avoid, you know, all the cheap and easy ways to get experience, especially with heirlooms, so it wasn't exactly impressive, but I mean, you can see, like, as a new player, I would have spent all that time, even keeping in mind that, like I said, I'm a seasoned player. I know how to get all the easy experience, even on a character without heirlooms, but add the heirlooms, and I'm cutting the time down so much. Like, there's no reason for new characters not to have heirlooms. And that's why it's so hard for people to get into the game that have never played, and if they're not using Refer a Friend. And that's something that should be seriously looked at and fixed.